Howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. Well, one thing, first of all, I took the, I think it's a fisheye lens or whatever it is I had on the camera off, and this is just the camera with this standard lens on it. I want to see how it looks. Anyway, I was looking through some of my gun magazines, and I came across a whole bunch of copies of this. It's called the Gun Report. This is a magazine put out by a Florida gun club back in the 50s through the 70s, I think through the 90s. Yeah, through the 90s, because this one's a 1992 edition of it. But this one, this is the one I was looking at. This is in April 1956. And it made me think of the book Clockwork Basilisk, because Clockwork Basilisk talks about this very gun. This is a box lock. Oh, wait a minute, is that the one? Yeah. Where'd I put it? It must be it. That must be it. Yeah, let's see. That's not it. Come on now. I remember I was just looking at it, and I just had it out on front, and then I stacked up these things because they fell over and created a problem, and there it is. Excuse me, not the 1956. This is the May of 1978. May of 1978. And the cover of it has on it a pistol that says Collier Model 1 revolving 5-chamber flintlock pistol circa 1819. Victoria and Albert Museum, and this has an article throughout about the Collier guns. And where did no, this is the later stuff. Let me find it. It goes through. This is some cartridge collector talking about his stuff. Oh, here it is. It has a whole section on the various Collier type guns, and I'm wondering whether or not the guy who did Clockwork Basilisk had seen the May 1978 gun report, because this is part 2. That means April of 1978, which I don't have. These are mainly 1975 ones, but I don't have the April 1978 for part 1. But these are just I bought these, I think it was on eBay. I just was looking for a particular one, and they had this whole series of them for sale, so I bought them. The thing about it is, these days you go out and look on the internet, probably YouTube, or there's forums all over the place on various kinds of guns, flintlocks, wheel locks, you name it, there's something on it. Well, back in the day, way back in the day, what we had were gun magazines, or club magazines that had things on it. This is a serious collector club. I mean, serious. These guys are really into it. And back in the day, you could find all kinds of things that people would collect from. Well, let's see here. This is October of '75, and it's 32 Teepfire revolvers. You know, all kinds of things that they talk about. And you know, you can learn so much from these, and it's stuff that you won't find out on the forums. You won't find it on YouTube unless Ian McCollum happens to have run into one. But there's some interesting things in the old printed material, and magazines and club journals and the like. These are just to me they're a joy to look at. You know, I'll never be able to own one of these because they're just rarer than rare. This one's in the Victoria and Albert collection, which means it's a national treasure of England. Or let's take a look at this, a Danish Hall rifle. I mean, that thing probably costs at least 5 figures today. You know, there's just some really interesting things. Or what's this on it? I can't even read that. Let's see. Cover plate. A Gwyn and Campbell carbine, produced by the Cosmopolitan Company of Hamilton, Ohio. And this is a cap lock of some kind. Beautiful looking thing. You know, they're just interesting guns, all sorts of interesting guns. If you find a copy of Gun Report, it doesn't matter what, you just get a copy, look through it. The articles will be fascinating. When you're, okay, like this is transition variants of the Smith & Wesson pistols. And, but then the advertisements in the back are just as interesting. You know, antique arm prices, for instance, or advertisements for gun shows that are being held, or you know, gun fairs, handmade gun expositions, things like that, all over the area. This was dedicated to the Florida gun collectors, and I think it went out of business in the 90s. But it was very big in the 1950s through the 1980s. And so 30 years worth of these things. This is just mainly 1970s. I got one 1956, and the rest of these are all 1970s. Oh wow, look at that one. What does it say? Opposite side of a pair of wheel lock lattice KIV pistols, courtesy of Mr. Sochley and Company. Gorgeous things, you know. Anyway, Gun Report. I'm just my book report on a magazine. No guns today, just gun information. Anyway, I find it interesting. Happy trails.